We're going to talk about tonight one of my favorite albums of all time, The Chronic. The Chronic album from Dr. Dre, 1992, right at the end of 92. It was a great time in hip hop. I do remember, for me especially. Let's go back to 92. 1992, I was in high school, freshman, and the anticipation around this album alone was crazy because, you know, we had already heard Nothing But a G Thing, and that revolutionized music. Like that song right there was something different. Take Yourself Back. I know we know G-Funk in hindsight as it is now, but there was nothing ever heard like that back in 1992 when we heard Nothing But a G Thing, and then Snoop coming in with the 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance. So back on up, cause I'm about to rip the motherfucking cut. And just to hear Long Beach on a song back then, I remember I was ecstatic, dude. Cause Compton and Long Beach together, now you know you in trouble. I mean, being from Long Beach, that was dope to me. 92 was a great year in music. And this was right after Dr. Dre left Ruthless and NWA.
That particular record, man, that's like I would say the toughest record that I recorded in my career, because, you know, it was right after my separation with Ruthless. Going from that to the organization that I went to, you know, and all the things that were happening in the studio during the making, it was crazy, you know. During that process, my house burned down. I was shot in the legs, you know what I mean? And I was in the studio on crutches for a couple of weeks, you know? So it was a lot that went into that record. That's one of those records that I don't even listen to anymore. I just don't really like being taken back to that era.
This was his make it or break it time. And he made it. Boy, did he make it. In a year that had a lot of good music. I mean, I'm telling you, this is just my opinion, but, you know, 92 to 95, 96 was some of the best music ever. Just that period. I mean, that year alone, 1992, you had South Central Cartel. They released an album. Sir Mix-a-Lot, Boogie Down Productions, Fushnikins, The Youngsters. You guys remember The Youngsters? The Youngsters were hard. So many albums. Arrested Development came out that year. Crisscross came out. You guys know you were bumping Crisscross. Don't even lie. I know as a 13, however old I was at that time, I was definitely rocking the Crisscross look for a quick second. I had the braids and everything. But 1992, what else? We had Das FX. Forget about it. Those guys changed the game too. Spice One. I mean, dude, a lot of great music came out that year. And at the end of 92, Dre drops the Chronic album. And I remember not even understanding what the Chronic was, what Chronic was. Look, I know now all bud is pretty much good. You get it from a dispensary or you get it from the homie. It's pretty much good. But back then, the Chronic was the Chronic, guys. The Chronic was it. Because up until then, we were smoking a lot of Stress, Pretendo. You kids don't know how good you have it. You kids don't know what it's like to separate the stems from the seeds. You lucky bastards. But we had to do that. And sometime you would accidentally get a seed in your joint paper, and then you would light the seed and it would either pop and scare the dog out of you, or it would smell up the car or wherever you're smelling like, oh man, dog, you put a seed in there. Somebody put a seed. Who rolled the joint? Really, Dusty? You rolled the joint, bro? You put a seed in, dog. Oh, my bad. My bad. That's why it's extra fluffy, huh? But dirt weed up until that time, man. Dirt. You could buy an ounce for 50 bones. And it was just dirt. Dirt weed. Straight from Mexico. Not the best at all. Ah, that's good. And then the Chronic comes out. And one thing that the Chronic was, like, especially if you were young at that time, you're my age, everyone had to chip in. Everyone had to chip in. The Chronic was $20 off top for a little ass baggie. A little baggie. Barely, you were lucky if you got a joint, but got you high as hell. It got you high. But it was looking back now, I would love to smoke some Chronic just to see what it tastes like today. The Chronic would probably be the worst of the worst weed that you can get now at any dispensary or anywhere. But back then, the Chronic was the Chronic. So Dre names his album The Chronic.
Came up with the name The Chronic, which was the name on the streets for orange bud, because it was just so bomb. It was indica, see, and it was something that nobody else had but California. So Snoop said, you need to name your album The Chronic because it's the bomb.
And this album changed music. This album changed everything. Let's dive into The Chronic, and we'll just talk a little bit about it in between. But obviously, we talked about Nothing But a G Thing. That was a huge hit. The video was dope. And this felt like a new era in hip-hop. And I didn't know much back then about EAZY and Dre's, I guess Dre's departure from Ruthless Records. I had no idea what was going on back then, The only stuff I knew is through the music, which leads me to my second favorite song on that album, F with Dre Day. This song used the Atomic Dog sample, had a lot of funkadelic vibes to it. Great song. Now, what was crazy about the song was they were dissing EAZY. They were dissing Luke Skywalker, Luke from 2 Live Crew. And they were dissing Tim Dog. Why were they dissing all three of these people? Off top, I can't remember why they were dissing Luke, but I know it didn't go well for Death Row Records at, I do believe it was a Freaknik or something along those lines, a convention that rappers meet up at. And apparently the Death Row camp met up with the Luke Skywalker camp, and word has it that the Luke Skywalker camp walked away the winners that day.
Jack the Rapper I talk about in the book was when we had the big fight with Snoop Dogg them in Death Row. Yeah. When we had the little beef going on, and then they eventually came down to Jack the Rapper. I tried to talk to Jack and his wife, not his wife, but daughter Jill, and say, look, you need to arrange a sit down with me and Suge Knight, because if they gonna come down here, there's so many people from Miami. I got so much love in Atlanta. It's gonna be an ugly sight.
There were also rumors that Dr. Dre was not allowed to set foot in Miami for a very long time because of that song. Yeah, they dissed Luke hard, man. Luke's bending over, so Luke's getting bust a must. I thought it was easy. Thought it was a mark because I used to hang with easy animosity. Ain't just speak what you spoke. Hey, yo, Dre, what up? Break the nigga off, Loke. If it ain't another Loke that I got to somewhere. Those lyrics were hard back then, and they were going hard at these guys. They also went at Tim Dog. Why were they going at Tim Dog? Well, they were going at Tim Dog because Tim Dog released a song called F Compton. And he didn't say F. Compton. He released a song called F Compton. He's a Bronx rapper. Tim Dog. I actually did a special on Tim Dog. Type in Dusty Vision Tim Dog, and you can find it. Or if I remember, I'll just post a link in the description below. But Tim Dog, they called him Tim M-U-T. Your bark was loud, but your bite wasn't vicious. And the rhymes you were kicking were quite bootylicious. You get with Doggy Dog, oh, is he crazy? With your mama and you sing it along, hollering, baby. We all know that song, man. But yeah, that beat was hard. When it came in, just boom, 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 boom. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, that beat is crazy. I just remember hearing that beat and like my brain is blown. I've never heard anything like this, but I need more. This album was great. It started off with that intro. Make my butt the chronic. I want to get effed up. Make my butt the chronic. I want to fight up. I want the bomb. I want the chronic. I want to fight up. So off top, it starts in a good direction. One of my other favorite songs in there, it's a favorite song to this day. It's one of my favorite summer songs specifically. Let me ride, sweet top and cherry dropping. Let me ride. So much funkadelic Parliament elements in this song. It's crazy. Even the video is pretty dope. Boom, 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 boom. Just another motherfucking day for Dre. So I begin like this. No medallions, dreadlocks, or black fists. It's just that gangster glare with gangster raps. The gangster man, that gangster slaps. Word to the motherfucking streets. Word to these hype ass lyrics and dope beats. Let me ride. That was my joint. What a sample that is, man. What a sample. Check this out. One of my other favorite songs on this album is The Day the Niggas Took Over. This song, because keep in mind, 92, it was a very revolutionary time, even for gangster rap. I mean, gangster rappers were dropping messages in their music. And this song is one that I just loved it. How many niggas are ready to loot? Yeah, so what you want to do? What you want to do? I said, how many niggas are ready to loot? Got myself a Uzi and my brother a 9. Lil Love's gonna get you sample. But such a great song, man. It was a revolutionary time. We had just had the riots had just happened. 6 months prior to that? You had the Rodney King situation. Before that, Latasha Harlan's.
Also coming in for heavy criticism lately, the lyrics in some, not all, but some rap music. More and more radio stations are taking requests to tone it down.
We went from the house party generation to the nothing but a G thing generation. House party generation, everybody wanted to dance, have a good time, had funky, crazy haircuts and bright ass color clothes. But literally, within a couple years, gangster rap came into play, and now everybody's dressing baggy, everybody's dressing like a cholo, everybody's dressing like a gangster. Because that's what was hot at that time. So I remember it was still a good time for me because I wasn't a gangster, even though a lot of us dressed that way because that's just what was popular, the baggy look. It was just popular at that time. But I remember that being a time of where, yes, everybody wanted to dance, and now everybody wants to put their feet on the wall and be wallflowers and just nod their head. Never knowing if something could go down. Gunshots. It was a messed up time as well in the streets. 92 was crazy. Crazy. It was a time when we had the highest murder rate, unfortunately. It was a time where the following year, I believe, or the following year after that, 93 and 94 is where we had upwards of 2,500 homicides in 1 year in Los Angeles. 2,500 homicides. We don't even reach 1,000 now. We haven't reached 1,000 in a very long time, even though we're heading back up to those levels. But keep in mind what the streets was going through during this time, 92, 93, when Dre released The Chronic. It was a revolutionary / gangster time. You had artists like Paris. You guys remember Paris? He was from the Bay Area. Gorilla Funk, that's what it is. Gotta get into you. This was a good time in hip hop. Even looking back in hindsight, and even as I'm talking about it right now, it's giving me good vibes. Now, keep in mind, this is where Snoop Dogg this is where Snoop Dogg showed that he was a superstar. We had already heard Snoop Dogg in the 187 on a motherfucking knob, yeah, and you don't stop. We had already heard Snoop in that. So we knew he had something. Who is this guy? The voice is great. This laid back dude, the voice was crazy. But then Snoop came on this album and just did his thing. We were also introduced to a lot of other artists on this album, which we'll get into later, but RBX. We also had Corrupt Young Gotti.
Like it's a kid named Corrupt in here. He hard. Snoop Corrupt want to battle you. We formed a little circle, so him and Snoop just started going at it. Everybody was like, that was a straight tie. They kept saying dumb shit after dumb shit. Couldn't nobody win. Everybody started breaking up and stuff, so I ran up to Corrupt. I said, let me get your phone number. At that time, we was doing stuff for the Chronic. Dre had asked us to come move with him, so we moved with him up in the valley, just to get us out the hood and away from everything. So I told Corrupt, come up. So I got Corrupt up in there. We recorded 5 songs.
And when I first heard Corrupt rap, I'm like, okay, this guy, who is this guy? I need more of this guy. He was an amazing lyricist. Never really heard anything like that in my life. So we got Corrupt, we got RBX, another voice that just, it's crazy. It's a great, distinct voice.
Woke up, like, fool, I got this track you need to come check out. And I'm like, okay. He said, if you finish this will be the last song on the album. And I said, oh, okay then. So I listened to the track, and then it just hit me. 7 executions. And I did it. I was just waking up, and I was kind of rehearsing it. Thought Dre was going to let me do it again, but he didn't let me do it again. I knew it was dope, kinda, because when I finished it, Dre kicked me out the studio. I was just doing the rap, and Dre put the bomb in there. I just did the rap. I just, I dropped off like he was. Then Dre, King Jedi, he heard it, and it was like we knew what to put in there, the sound effects wise. And
we had Daz, that nigga Daz.
First record that I produced was Rat-a-tat-tat, you know what I'm saying? And I helped with Lil Ghetto Boy, and then I rapped on These Nuts. So I was doing both, you know what I'm saying? And Lil Ghetto Boy and the day the niggas took over.
We also had the DOC, who unfortunately just at that time had lost his voice due to a major car accident.
Doggy Dog was a great spitter. He just had no idea how to make a song. When you talk about G-Thing, Snoopy went upstairs. He was living in my house then. And I tell Snoopy the most important line is the lines are the first one and the last one, because you must grab them off the top. He went upstairs and I stayed downstairs and we both wrote. We met up in about an hour. Snoop was a great student. The beginning of G-Thing is his spin on the beginning of Funky Enough, right? He went right back to the numbers, showing me he understood what I meant. That's the first important thing, is to grab them.
It's kind of cool, actually. They're not thinking about doing it. They are doing a new album with DOC using AI technology. So and it's amazing what they're doing. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm gonna definitely check that out, because DOC, he was on the rise, man. He was the one that everyone was talking about. He was going to be the thing, especially after it's getting funky enough. Yeah. That song was so hard. Dallas native, came from Dallas to LA and just blew up. And apparently he got into he got into a very bad car wreck, and it damaged his vocal cords, and he was never the same again. But that nigga Daz, some would say most of this album was produced by Daz. Those in the know would say that Dre didn't produce most of this album like he got credit for. Yes, he may have oversaw it. Of course he oversaw it. But a lot has been said that beats were basically already finished and Dre did some fine tuning to them and slapped that executive producer role on him. But there is no doubt in anyone's mind that nigga Daz was a beast, is a beast, and is a legend for this album alone. This album alone. All right, so what other songs were on this? They had a bunch of skits in between. That was kind of cool back then. Now I just skip all the skits, but you know they had the D's nuts and you know the $100,000 Project Pyramid or something like that. I don't remember, $20 sack pyramid or something. They had those. That was cool. But, and I know I keep saying this, one of my favorite songs in the album. Damn, this might be my favorite. Let me think for a second. This might be my favorite song on the album. When I hear this song, it takes me back to a good time. It takes me back to being a kid. It takes me back to being a 13, 14.
South Africa from apartheid and shit. Damn it, you need to step your punk ass to the side and let us brothers and us Africans step in and start putting some foot in that ass.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I have to die today for this little African right here to have a future, I'm a dead mother.
Little ghetto boy playing in the ghetto street. What you gonna do when you grow up and have to face responsibility? Now I'm holding my nine, sitting on swole, 27 years old, up for parole, stroll with the dog pound right behind me. Something. Oh man, oh, such a good song with a good message. Great sample, another great sample. Donny Hathaway, Little Ghetto Boy. Classic. Nigga with a Gun, that was cool. Still, you know, that still was that was cool. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat, and I never hesitate to put him on his back. That was a good one too. We're just gonna keep rolling through them because this was a lot. There was a lot. Oh, Lyrical Gangbang. Lyrically, that's my shit. Oh, the Lady of Rage. How can we not talk about the Lady of Rage? One of the hardest female MCs to ever touch a mic. The Lady of Rage. Man. Lyrically a beast. I wish he would have been able to do more. But apparently she was locked into a contract that just made it impossible for her to spread her wings and give the world the full capability of what we could see her do. I loved her in Next Friday. I really was rooting for her as an actress because she was one of the better characters in that movie. Baby D. Come on now. You guys knew that was Lady of Rage, right? Baby D. Come on, Baby D. I'll give you a cookie. You want a cookie? Like she killed it. Her comedic timing was good, you know, like all of that. And it's hard. She was keeping up with some heavyweights to go, you know, head of her head with Mike Epps, who is no slouch in the comedy game. That's pretty amazing, if you ask me. But yes, the Lady of Rage. She was on Lyrical Gangbang. Then High Power. That's my man. 7 execution style murders. I have no remorse because I'm the murderer. Have you ever heard of a killer? I drop bombs like Hiroshima. How hard is that, bro? Get out of here. Get out of here. All right, then you have some more skits. What about Stranded on Death Row, though? Going back to the Lady of Rage, bro. RBX, Corrupt, Snoop, all on one. Cell Block 2, Rage, Lyrical Murderer, Stranded on Death Row. When now I'm serving a lifetime sentence, there'll be no repentance. Since it's the life that I choose to lead, I plead guilty. On all accounts, let the ball bounce where it may. That's just another trip into my AK. Oh man, she was so dope, dude. And Corrupt, of course, man. Corrupt, Cellmate, Corrupt, Inmate, Cell Block 1. Something like that, I don't know. But yes, man, that was dope. And They had the Roach sample, or the not the sample, but the interlude, I guess you would call it. And then it ends with bees ain't shit. Just ain't but hoes and tricks. Just ain't but hoes and tricks. Lick on these since the day. This the get a hooter back to the home to make a quick roll to your stove to get me a photo. Snoop Doggy Dogg paged, it must mean mo hoes. As I rolls down the streets to Long Beach just so I can meet a freak to lick me from my head to my feet. Man, dude. Yeah, Daz came off. Daz is no slouch in the lyrical game either, guys. Daz, and to be able to even hang with Corrupt in a group like that, Daz, he definitely proved that he is the man. Definitely one of my favorite albums. Takes me back to a very good time in my life. Comment down below, what's your favorite album of all time? This is not my favorite album of all time, but it's definitely up there. It's one of the more influential albums of my life, if that makes sense. It made me fall more in love with hip hop. It made me start understanding what legends were and seeing a legend in the making like Dr. Dre. You know, I already knew, like, okay, he's a legend. Like, this is going to make him a legend. He left Ruthless Records. He left EAZY. Everybody was counting him out. And he just came and did the damn thing. EAZY got a little payment every time this album was sold because of that contract that Dr. Dre was let out of on Ruthless Records. He got paid. So that's why when EAZY said, because Dre Day always made EAZY's payday, like EAZY was getting paid from the Chronic.
I had no idea that you make money off product from Dr. Dre and Snoop. Now, how did that work out?
Basically, I had Dre signed as exclusive producer and exclusive artist. So when Dre tried to make his deal over at Interscope, you know, I was included for the next 6 years.
EAZY wasn't upset. But yes, this album also introduced the world to who we would know as Suge Knight. Suge Knight, owner of Death Row Records. This was probably his first major debut, major album, make it or break it type stuff, going back to what I was saying earlier. Later, they would go on to release a catalog. And when I say a catalog, the Death Row music in the 90s was amazing, dog. Soundtracks alone, Above the Rim, Murder Was the Case. Great soundtracks that I bump to this day. And just albums, classic albums. Dog Food, classic. Snoop Dogg's album, which came out and took over the world. Oh, I'm going to talk about Snoop's album in the future for sure. Snoop's album, there was no, I can't think of any other anticipation that I have for an album in my entire life. And when I say entire life, I mean my entire life. The anticipation for Snoop Dogg's album back in whenever it came out, 93, I think it was. Oh, forget about it. So we're going to talk about that definitely on future episodes of Dusty Vision Radio. Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. So Questlove from The Roots said he hated the Chronic album for 20 years.
I hated the Chronic for like 20 years because it just sounded too pristine. It was like, I was like, wait, I thought we were against this. I thought we didn't want to sound like afternoon radio. I was dirty, dungeon. Hip hop has to be filthy, like the first Jungle Brothers record, the first Wu-Tang record.
The Chronic is one of the most smoothest, well-produced, beautiful pieces of work in the history of music. This was at a time when hip-hop was based on being gritty, grimy, dirty. And here we are on the West Coast, over here, singing our hooks, doing our weird little dances, swinging our arms from side to side, using laid-back samples, barbecuing at the beach in our flip-flops, smoking our joints. I could see why someone like Questlove wouldn't like the Chronic album. But for 20 years, dog? Damn, Quest, really? For 20 years. All right, so the Chronic came out in 93, I do believe. 92, 93, one of those. So you're telling me that it wasn't until about 2010, 11, 12, whatever, that you stopped hating the Chronic album? And that's very interesting to me because roots, yes, they come from the gritty, grimy, hip hop, but they always had melody to their music. Never do what they do, what they do, what they do. And then they had that one with Eve. You'll always, I can't even think right now. But yes, it really kind of, that was very shocking when I came across that clip of Questlove from the Roots saying that. The first time I heard the Roots, my boy Bone, who lived in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh to be specific. I know it's not Philly where they're from, but he brought this tape around one day. It was this white tape. Got to check this out. This is the Roots. They're the shit. Never heard of them. This is probably 93. Whenever it had to be right around the time of their first joint that they dropped. He was on them, and he is still on them to this day. And here they are, one of the greatest groups in hip-hop history. Let's keep it real. So good that late-night TV shows picked them up and asked them to be their house band. How big is that? Seeing the Roots as a house band on a nightly talk show? Great gig. But damn, man, the Chronic, you didn't like the Chronic for 20 years. When I heard the Chronic, it was the greatest thing in my life I had heard up until that point. Greatest thing I had ever heard in my life at that point. I was 14 years old, just barely starting high school. Everyone and when I say everyone, now everyone, there's so many rappers and people still get billions of streams. But what I'm saying, everyone was playing that Chronic album. And then shortly after that, Doggy Style. Everyone, I had never seen the anticipation for an album like I saw for Snoop Dogg's album. Because everybody heard what Dre did on the Chronic. And they're just like, oh my God, now I got to hear what Dre is going to do on Doggy Style. And Dre did not let us down. Oh, but that Chronic album brings back so many good memories. Even the skits. I enjoyed the skits. Now I fast forward the skits, but back then the skits were cool. They had the $20 sack pyramid and it was just a good time. And this was knee deep in the beef with EAZY. So there were a couple songs in there where they were dissing Easy. That last song, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Lick on these nonsense. Dick and stuff. I'm gonna be a hoe. Back to, he said, to the stove to gets me a photo. Snoop Doggy Dogg page, that must mean mo hoes. So I heads down the streets to Long Beach just so I can meet a freak to lick me from my head to my feet. I mean, when I was 14 years old, this was everything. And they were dissing Dre and Eazy-E. I once knew a bitch named Eric Wright. Used to some every, I mean, and then of course, the biggest song, the biggest song of the album was Nothing But a G Thing, for sure. When that came out, woo, it was a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, not just in LA, but all over the country, all over the world, were playing 1, 2, 3 into the foe. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance. So back on up, cause you know we about to rip shit up, man. And then when you hear it, when I'm born and lived a lot of my years in Long Beach, when I heard Long Beach on a song, to hear Long Beach on a song, wait, what? And not only that, he's the greatest rapper in the world right now. What? Long Beach on a song? That was dope. That was really, really dope. That was really, really dope. Exciting time to be alive, man. Back when you went and bought a CD, when you had to save up $15.99, maybe $14.99, $10.99 if you're lucky, for a CD, compact disc. Shit, I'll take it back. I'm pretty sure I had the tape because I had a Walkman, so I had to have, definitely had the tape. 100% had the tape. I actually had the tape before I had the CD. 100%. Tapes, something you kids will never know about. Very, very good time. But Questlove, I'm wondering if there's something deeper, man, as to why you said you hated the Chronic album for 20 years. Very, very interesting to me. Love to interview him one day and get a little bit deeper into that conversation, because that alone we could talk about probably for 20 minutes. Shout out to Questlove. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna go listen to the Chronic album right now. Like, I feel like a Chronic mood right now. I go crack open a little brew, play some Chronic album, man. Toke on a little Kush because I don't have Chronic. I wonder what Chronic would taste like nowadays. Chronic was the shit back then. It was like a little thimbleful for $20, but somehow you rolled that little thimbleful of Chronic and you and 5 people got high as good times, man. I can still smell the Chronic in the air. The Pretendo, the Indo, all that good stuff, man. Different time. What do you guys think, though, of Questlove's comment about hating the Chronic? Hating the Chronic for 20 years. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment down below, and please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. And then, it's almost like a perfect storm. And I say that because that's for lack of better words. But not only did you have crack cocaine, but you had this thing in the streets bubbling up called gangster rap, reality rap. You have Ice-T, you have Toddy T, you have Mixed Master Spade, you have NWA and EAZY. What are your thoughts when I'm not, and let us know if you were in the DJ game at this time, but what do you remember about the upswing of gangster rap?
Well, I think the first gangster rap song I ever heard was 6 in the Morning by Ice-T.
Yeah.
Then I remember I got the 12-inch of Boys in the Hood from my cousin who stayed near EAZY at the time. And I think I was probably 15, 16, but maybe 16 when she gave that to me. And I fell in love with it the first time I heard it. It was different. At the time, I was 15, and that's when I started to DJ. I just had 2 radio. I had 2 Technique 100s, not even 1200s, but I had Technique 100s and a little Newmark mixer and a radio, a double, the double cassette.
Oh yeah.
And I used to record from there. But I mean, it was people in the neighborhood doing that kind of rap. But if they never got famous, they never blew up, they never got signed. So EAZY wasn't the first one doing it, because there was other people too. He was just the biggest that came out from Compton. But like I said, my cousin gave me the record. I fell in love with it, and I was selling mixtapes at the time. And I remember seeing EAZY a couple of times at the Compton Swap Meet. This was before I knew him, before I met him, before I started working with him. I used to just see him. He'd come deliver those records, and I forgot the guy's name, but it was Psychedelic Records, the biggest record store in Compton. And he used to buy the record.
Right?
Yeah, Kim. Yeah. Yep, and then his son ended up taking it over, eventually. But yeah, he used to sell the records up there. I used to see him, I don't know, every couple of weeks, once a month or two here and there, selling his EPs. And then, like I said, me being a DJ, I was getting all the records. I was getting promotional copies from different companies and stuff like that. So it was exciting for me. It was something new, and it was something common, because I used to see the stuff happening in real life. They were talking about on wax.
Yeah,
I lived it. I seen it. I'm not going to say how too much I was involved in it, but I was involved a little bit, and I witnessed more than I was involved in. But if you from the streets, if you're from Compton, you're going to be affiliated in some type of way. I just didn't take it to the level to a lot of people did. I wasn't going to be, stuck like that. I had some brains in me,
Did you ever run into EAZY back then? I know you said you had a partner or family member who lived close to him, but did you run across EAZY, Ren, Drake, during those days?
I used to work with him.
Oh, okay.
I used to work with him. I had a buddy, rest in peace, Big Man, who knew EAZY. They were like best friends. They were literally best friends. Okay, me and him reconnected when I was, I don't know, probably 18 or something like that, because I known him from my uncle's tire shop. And I was just DJing at the time. This is before I even got any equipment. And he was like, yeah, I know EAZY, blah, 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 blah. So he started taking me to the studio in Torrance at Audio Achievement, where they was recording all of them albums and stuff. So that's how I ended up meeting EAZY through him. But even before then, I was DJing. So sometimes I would DJ places and they would show up, and Yella wouldn't be there. I remember I think I was like 18, and I was 18, 19 years old, and they had a big giant concert at Compton High. I mean, you had Big Daddy Kane, you had KRS-One, you had a lot of
that.
It was the biggest thing Compton had ever seen as far as rap. It was. I think the concert was free too. It was huge. It was huge, and it was our turn. My group was DMG and Daddy V. I'm sure a lot of your listeners gonna know those names, DMG and Daddy V. But it was our turn. I remember them coming in. They went in the back, what we call a green room. It wasn't a green room, it was just a big tent. But they called us up, so it was our time to perform. I brought my equipment. I'm the DJ. So I brought my equipment, hooked it up, and then all of a sudden they came and said that NWA is about to perform. You got to get off the stage. I'm like, what you mean? I'm not getting off the stage. So I got mad because we just a local group. How is going to look at us coming after NWA? So I'm like, I'm not coming after NWA. So I took my turntables down. They couldn't perform without no turntables. So I unhooked my turntables, and I'm coming down. So they begged me to put them back up, and I'll never forget this. EAZY was like, what you gonna do, man? He used to talk like real calm, cool, and collective in real life. You go up with them, you go down with the turntables, what you gonna do? So they end up performing, and we end up performing after them. We did great, but of course the audience is not gonna handle it like that. So I ran into him a lot of times. My first time, I remember at Skateland USA. So I could talk about all this all day.
Please, dog. I'm loving it.
So I remember being at Skateland USA. Lonzo, the Wrecking Crew, used to DJ up there, which was Yella and Dr. Dre. And I think, for a fact, it was Dr. Dre and Yella DJing. And I remember I came up to the DJ booth and I'm like, hey, Dre, let me DJ. He was like, here. And he just moved out the way and let me DJ. And he walked away. He left. So I DJed for about 20 minutes, and then Yella came and was like, okay, it's my turn. And, he started DJing. But eventually, I ended up getting a record deal for a group called Menage a Trois. I'm the one who got them their record deal.
Oh, shit. That was whose group was that? Was it Unknowns, or was it...
No, it was Yella's.
It was Yella's.
I brought them
exactly. There you go.
I'm going to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I actually brought him to EAZY first.
Okay.
I'm telling you stuff that nobody on the planet know. So I brought him to EAZY, and he was like, it's cool. It's cool. Give me another song. Give him another song. It's all right. Give him another song. You're not serious. And then when Big Man let Yella hear it, Yella was like, I want to work with him. And we started working with Yella from that point on.
Who are some other people that, you remember from Compton kind of bubbling up that you rubbed shoulders with back then? I mean, shit, Compton, we had 8, we had CMW. I mean.
But that's what I was about to say. 8 was I'm going to say CMW because we can't leave out Chill.
Of course.
And I can't leave out my boy either.
And Capone.
Yeah,
and Capone.
And Capone, my boy. I can't leave him out. King T. Of course, a DJ for Toddy T. I mean, a DJ for Mixed Master Spade. So, and of course, me and Todd is still friends to this day. Me and Tila, King T, is still cool to this day. I remember I went to Carson High for a half a year, for 2 quarters. And Joe Cooley was DJing, and I walked up and asked him, "Can I DJ?" He was like, he let me DJ too. So Joe Cooley's from Compton too.
Yeah.
What's the dude from Southside? It's a few other people that I know about that you might not remember. It's another guy from Southside. Ended up getting a deal with Def Jam. I can't remember his name. What's his name?
See, not Dazzy D. Who am I thinking?
No, I know Dazzy D too.
Southside.
I met Dazzy D through Toddy T. I did a track for Todd. It was a sample, and we took it to Dazzy D for him to have it all played original, with all live music. And then I ended up meeting him again in the Valley. Somebody he knew brought me by there. Just anybody that was from Compton I'm not going to say had to come through me, but I knew them or they knew me.
What do you think about Special Ed's comments a few months back? You probably heard them. You probably heard me and Lonzo talk about it, where Special Ed said that and this is the piece that everyone ran with. There was a lot of context around it during the hour or so interview on the Drink Champs, but Special Ed said, quote, "NWA brought destruction to hip hop." In hindsight, what are your thoughts, on Special Ed's comments?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because me and my wife did a video about that, and I saw you and Alonzo talking about it too, and he has a point, but there were still some rappers, and I was doing some research myself. The Bigger and Deffer album came out before NWA, and LL said some crazy stuff on that album. He said, "I'm going to take my gun and shoot you in your face." This is before NWA. So I'm like, just because LL put out "I Need Love," you can't let him off the hook and just look at West Coast hip hop. I mean, LL said some, but I guess because NWA just was pure aggression and LL would mix in the love song, so he kind of looked like he was PG and they were R-rated. So I see where Special Ed is coming from, but I don't think that that's necessarily the case because Bigger and Deffer was a huge album back then. I mean, how many people did you hear going down the street and there's Samurai Suzuki's blasting LL back then? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think the End for Life album was a lot harsher than the Straight Outta Compton album, just lyrically.
Yeah, a lot of people would say that. Yeah, a lot of people would definitely say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were the ones. Yeah,
I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they were the ones that made me fall in love with hip hop. Ironically, was NWA and EAZY. Just hearing. I had heard Fat Boys. I had heard other Run DMC and all that. But when I heard EAZY and NWA, I was like, oh, I like this. It was Eazy-E's voice that actually got me off top.
Right.
Yeah, and I even remember Too Short was a close second because my friend had this tape of Too Short. It was a white tape. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
It had cuss words. It had Don't Fight the Feeling. It was Life is Too Short, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But we had to sneak and listen to that tape because we were like 9, 10, 11 years old listening to this dude call it bitch and stuff like that. And like it was a much different time, dude. You almost felt like you were doing something bad, you know what I'm saying? But I loved it, you know what I'm saying? It was a good time, but nowadays it's different because they were calling girls bitches and this and that, but there was a message behind a lot of stuff that we grew up listening to.
Yeah.
NWA was definitely spitting some game at times, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Dre. The Chronic album, if you listen to it, I mean, it's going. I'm fast forwarding a few years, obviously, but the Chronic album, if you listen to it, it was kind of a political album. They were talking about the riots in it, and they were talking about Black Power and Africa, and taking care of the kids. I mean, it was surrounded by a bunch of BS, so you couldn't. I say BS respectfully. It was surrounded by a bunch of gang stuff and all that in the album. But if you really listen to the Chronic album from front to back, it was a little political. So I don't know, that is the difference. But yeah, going back to Special Ed, it kind of sucks that NWA got the brunt of it, because there were people before NWA that were talking, that stuff too, from the East Coast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like what's his name? Just Ice. I mean, he wasn't saying anything too extreme, but he called himself a gangster way before.
Yeah.
Like, NWA didn't even call themselves gangster rappers. They were reality rappers, It's kind of the media that labeled them that. But, I rapped for years. I didn't cuss on any of my stuff, but I was aggressive. So people would think, I remember people would hear my songs and think I cuss. I was like, I didn't say one word. It's just my tone was aggressive. So a lot of raps can be aggressive without the R rating and still be liked. But because I personally get sick of all the cussing. Like, if I play a song, even Tupac, I'll pick clean version. I just get tired of all the F-bombs.
Yeah. All right. So last question for you, and then we'll wrap it up and give you a chance to promote anything you have coming up. But if you could do a same like you did for boxing earlier, what is your Mount Rushmore of rappers?
Oh man, definitely Tupac, man. That dude was special. Tupac, gotta put Cube up there. I think Tupac is almost a spinoff of Ice Cube. He just kind of went more political. So definitely Cube. Tupac, let's see. I'm gonna throw Big Daddy Kane up there because I just think that dude is extremely lyrical. A lot of people may not like me for this one, but I'm just lyrically based. I'm gonna say Eminem.
He's in my top 5 for sure, and I'll say it proudly. I'll say it proudly.
Yeah. Yeah, no one can deny Eminem's lyrical ability, man.
Isn't that crazy how we have to preface it with, I know everybody's going to be upset at this one, but it's Eminem.
Yeah.
Like, anybody who says Eminem, I've heard people say Eminem is whack. I'm like, are you... You just don't know about it. No offense, but you don't know about hip hop if you think Eminem is whack. Like, just because I don't like somebody, I can't say I was never a big DMX fan. But I cannot say DMX is whack. Like, dog, like I get it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. But that's just me. But I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, let me parlay that into a couple minutes, if you don't mind keeping you a couple minutes longer.
Oh yeah.
What did you hear? Did you hear? Was it Umar Johnson that said Eminem can't be considered one of the GOATs because he's white?
Oh yeah, I believe I commented on you and Alonzo's stream about that.
What do you think?
Umar just don't like white people. That's all that is. I mean, if a white dude donated $10,000 to his charity, he probably still have a negative thing. Like, well, how do I know this is $10,000? Is it counterfeit? Like, I think this dude just he's got a hate issue, and he knows good and well he could put his favorite rapper up against Eminem, and I can almost guarantee Eminem would destroy them in a battle.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be a hard night for anybody's favorite rapper if they go up against Eminem. It could be any given Sunday. But it's going to be a rough night for any MC for any of your top 5 out there listening right now. If they go up against Eminem, it's going to be a tough night for them.
Oh yeah, I mean, Eminem can make car rhyme with orange. I mean, that dude is he's a monster.
Real talk.
Yeah,
dope, dude. Well, it was great talking to you, man. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you have coming up next. The floor is yours.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. You can catch me on YouTube, the J. Roos Theory. I sometimes do interviews over at my buddy's page, Andrew Tucker World. We just interviewed upcoming Ukrainian heavyweight Vlad Tsarenko, 19 wins, 16 KOs. We interviewed James Bashir, who just trained the heavyweight champion, Alexander Usyk, and Jarrell Big Baby Miller. So if you would like and you love boxing talk, please subscribe to the J. Roos Theory. I got a backup platform in WJ where I talk about everything pretty much, but boxing too. So thanks for having me, Dusty. You and Alonzo, a class act, and I tune in and watch both of you guys' channels, man.
Appreciate you, my man. I definitely look forward to chatting with you in the future.
Oh, man, thanks for having me. No doubt, I enjoyed it.
Most def. Have a great night, all right?
All right, you too.
Peace.
Peace.